Welcome to the Onyx Path News. My name is Matthew Dawkins and I am here as ever to tell you about Onyx Path Publishing's latest releases. Let's start with the big one. This one isn't a release that came out last week. This is a release that's coming up. Next week, that's my estimate anyway, we intend to launch the crowdfunding campaign for the Monster Kingdoms RPG, the third in the Earthbane cycle of games. First there was The World Below, then there was At the Gates, now there is Monster Kingdoms. And Monster Kingdoms is our game where evil has won. The age of heroes is over. You are playing monsters in a monstrous land. And yes, you are mercenaries. Yes, you are evildoers. You may well go around slaying heroes, snuffing out their light, stealing their crowns and their weapons. You may indeed build your dungeons, populate them with all manner of traps and monsters, conquer lands, tame beasts, and more. There's a lot you can do in Monster Kingdoms, but make no bones about it. Monster Kingdoms is a game where you can play monsters in this fantasy setting. I have had it described at this point as playing Sabbat in a fantasy game, and that is a very good way of describing it, because it's also a very good way to describe how a squad, your party of characters in this game, is able to stay unified through such aspects as philosophy and magic, common causes and such, even if you all come from different kingdoms on the map. And it is quite a map. 13 kingdoms make up the Monster Kingdoms. But anyway, I have described Monster Kingdoms in detail in a video that went up on my YouTube channel, The Gentleman Gamer, over on last Friday. That would have been What is the Monster Kingdoms RPG? I'll link it in the video description below, but most importantly what I will link below is the link to the pre-sign-up page on BackerKit, so you can get notified as soon as the BackerKit campaign goes live next week by my estimate. Now, we did release new products last week, as always, starting with the Mythic Shards Story Guide Reference Book. This is quite a source book, a really useful piece of work. I don't think we've done one of these before, but there was enough demand further to Mythic Shards to get lots of the core information from that book, which has been really well received, into one handy source book. So all of your key information is in one place. Now, depending on how this goes, we may well do similar things for other games and large books of ours. So do check the Story Guide reference book out. This includes material, of course, for the After the End setting, Cyber Scion, Farewell to Heroes, Four Color Scion, Journey to the Wild West, Lost Time, and Space Odyssey. There's a lot that's in there, a lot of very useful information laid out in an incredibly easy to read way. So please do check it out. It is linked below. And that's not all. If you happen to be a mobile user, and who isn't, maybe you're a big fan of Scion, maybe you love the art of Scion, well, now you can have the Scion God wallpaper on your mobile phone for a very, very low price. It is a lovely piece of work. All of the Scion covers are beautiful. Scion God may be my favourite of the cores, so do check that out as well. Now, I won't be around as much this week to answer your questions if you post them in the comments, but do head on over to the Onyx Path Discord, go into the various channels there. We have a channel for practically every single game that we are working on, and even some that we're not working on. And if you have any questions about those games, either we, the developers, the writers, or indeed the authors, will be able to go in there and help you out. Thank you very much for watching. Be seeing you next week.